Welcome everybody. My name is Gina Rozier and welcome to our first Fixer Sisters Fixer Mixer. Um, I'm so glad that you took the time to attend. Before we start, let me tell you a little bit about Fixer Sisters. Um, I am a founder of Fixer Sisters, and it is a community of women who love home improvement DIY. And we support each other with encouragement, expertise, and hands-on help. So let's get to why we're here. And that is to learn how to grow microgreens. And we are going to learn from an expert, our chef, nutritionist, and founder of a nonprofit organization called Slice 325, and a Fixer sister. Shamika McNeil is here, and she's going to teach us how to grow these superfoods right in our own kitchens or in our own living rooms or on our own patios. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. So if you have questions for Shamika, go ahead and type them in the chat, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. So I'm going to turn it over to Shamika, and please do check out Shamika's earrings.
Yes, these are my earrings, and I bought these from a friend of mine, another lady boss, Shannon. Her store is called Naturally Unique, and she sells unique pieces, and I love her to pieces. So I think I saw her on here because she's a good resource also too. My name is Shamika. I go by Chef Mika or Chef Shamika or Chef McNeil. It's according to what type of setting I'm in. I am a chef educator. I have a background in a medical background, and I also am an urban farmer, and I am also a certified gap grower. So I tell people I'm a diversity hire and a flea female. So what I do far as my nonprofit is called Slice 325, and that stands for Serving Locations Invite and Culinary Education 325 days out of the year. We took a few off for mental health days. You know, we all have to have those. So that's where the 325 is instead of 365. So today I am excited to show you how easy it is to grow microgreens. And I see a couple of people. How many on here know what microgreens are? You can just wave at me a little bit. Got a couple of people. Okay. So how I introduce microgreens to parents to get their kids to eat microgreens, because, you know, kids really don't like to eat their veggies or whatnot. I tell them this is a vegetable that you can hide from your kids, because you can put microgreens in smoothies, you can put microgreens in salads, you can put microgreens in spaghetti. It's tons of things that you can put microgreens in. So those are just a few. What microgreens are the probably about, how can I explain this? When you do a microgreen, this right here is a radish microgreen. Can everybody see this? But it's a pink radish because you see the stems are pink. So microgreens are probably how can I explain it to you easily? The first 4 inches of a plant, because each one of these are radish. So they are the first 4 inches of the plant when they're ready to harvest. So what you do with these is that you harvest them at 4 inches, instead of using a iceberg lettuce for like your sandwiches. You could throw these radishes on here. You could throw in a spicy salad mix. Can everybody see this? A spicy salad mix, especially if you love hot mustard. That's kind of like what this tastes like, hot mustard. Or if you're on like keto or high protein, anybody knows the plant amethyst? We have amethyst. Did you know you can eat it? And it also makes a salad pop like this lipstick. Who doesn't want to eat a pretty salad, okay? So the reason microgreens are so nutritious and better for you is because you're getting at the micro level. And the easiest way to explain that, you know, when you're growing up, they said a young snake is more potent than an older snake. Same concept. Everything you're getting all the nutrition that that plant has before it becomes a full vegetable. So all of the energy is in a micro form. Some of these microgreens that we do have that I love the most are rainbow radish. And I have some of those here, and they're trying to come up, but I like these because these are purple, and purple is my favorite color. Can everybody see that? And rainbow radishes, they have kind of like a strong radishy flavor, but when you mix it with chicken salad, see, another thing that you can get, you can sneak in your greens. When you mix it with chicken salad, it makes it pop. And also, you know how expensive wheatgrass is? Well, guess what? You could grow wheatgrass at home. And the thing about wheatgrass, if you cut it, it's just like grass. It grows back. So one harvest can turn into 5, 6, 7, 8 until you decide like, okay, I just want a new batch. But it still doesn't lose its nutrition. This is the only microgreen that you can cut and it grows back and you still getting the full potential because it's a grass. And you know, you see these sunflowers and it's like, I like sunflower seeds, but I don't want to do the work to like chew on them a little bit. Then I got to spit them out and then this, that, and the other. Well, if you like sunflowers, we have sunflower microgreens. You see those? And they taste just like sunflower seeds. So this also can be added in a salad. It's pretty good with fish, like a topping on fish, like tilapia or salmon. I like it better on salmon, something like that. And another cool thing about microgreens is that you can harvest them in 10 days. Now, you cannot grow a full-grown vegetable 10 days. It's usually 70, 80, or 120 days. You can harvest these in 10 days. You can grow these as you see. This is my grow room in my kitchen. Just regular staple shells, that's food grade. And you don't need special pots for microgreens. This came from the Chinese restaurant. How easy is that? You didn't have to buy anything. You didn't have to go to Lowe's and figure out, okay, I need this type of tray and it has to be a 10, 10, 20 tray and I'm taking all of the myths out of it and showing you how to do it at home. Also, I think I had a croissant in this one. Everybody's seen these trays before, right? So I have amethyst growing in a croissant tray. How cool is that? Another thing about microgreens is you can grow them in different medias. I was showing earlier that this is coconut core, the husk of a coconut. You can grow it in that. This type I like for these trays because if you want to grow something else in this tray, it comes out and you have your microgreens. And you can throw it away and it's good for compost. Nothing else added. Another thing that I like, I don't really like soil, but I do use this. You can see this. It makes it really soft. It makes this soil is really soft so the roots can move around freely. Now, I did one on purpose so I can show you how it looks when you use Miracle-Gro but don't shift. And you have, on Miracle-Gro, they have all of these like bark and things like that, and it grows kind of wonky. This one is a Miracle-Gro tray, but you have a lot over here, you have not too much over here, and then you have some over here. It's still fine, but you want an even plane. That way, when you go to cut it for about right here, you won't have any dirt or anything in it and it comes straight off. Make sense to you all? So you want to make sure that it's even. All the rest of them are pretty even. Another thing that you can grow microgreens is that tray right there. And this is my favorite tray. And I guess this is why I love being a Fix-It sister. This is a cheese tray, okay? So what I did is I put holes in the bottom of it, and I kept the top, and I made it an incubator. So when you go to Walmart, these cost, no, not these, but incubators for gardens cost $35. This was $9, and I had cheese and crackers in it. So it was a multi-use tray. So if you have another one, you just put it at the bottom to hold it so you can have your drainage down here. But a cheese tray, how easy is that? Also, another thing with another tray that you can probably use, and I think I got this from Outback, and this has some fries in it. Same concept. So all this Tupperware that you have at home that you're like, how in the world did I accumulate all of this? I want somebody to come over and get leftovers to take them out of my house, okay? You can use these to grow your own greens. And also, it's a kid-friendly project. It's a DIY project that you all can eat. I taught my 6-year-old niece how to grow microgreens. So she grows them on my mom's counter. And then it went from that to having a garden of her own. So I'm so proud of my baby. Microgreens come in all different like varieties. You can do a spicy salad mix is one. And it's another one, popcorn. I want you to see how cool this one is. Now, this is popcorn. This tastes just like popcorn. The only thing I would tell you about this, you have to harvest this when it is this color, the yellow color. Because if you leave it and it turns green, it's real fibrous and you'll be chewing on it forever and it tastes like grass. But you want it popcorn, right? So you want it to taste like popcorn. And this is also in a growing media. So this right here is ready to harvest. And how do you use popcorn? You can eat it straight off the stem, or you can put it in a salad. Ooh, that tastes good. Sorry. You can put it in a salad. Or you can also put it in a sandwich, you know, just to spice it up a little bit. But you're getting it at the micro level, so this is more nutritious than overripe popcorn when you add the salt and the butter and all this other type of stuff. And also, there's no special microgreen seeds. If you go to Walmart or Lowe's or any of your seed stores, I love anybody remember the mom and pop farm stores where they have like these barrels of seeds that they just scoop out with a cup and then weigh them on this little thing. You could go there, and they say, oh, these seeds are for microgreens, and they cost $5 more. No, it's the same seeds as the little packs and everywhere else. Before I go any further, if I'm gonna let her read off the questions to me, and see if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'm gonna let her read them off to me, and I'll see if I can answer them.
Okay, so the first question is, what about growing without soil?
Growing without soil, coconut coir. You see stuff on YouTube that say, oh, you can grow microgreens on a paper towel. Let me show you what that looks like. Nastiness. And I did this on purpose. Okay. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because paper towels have chemicals in it of how they make it. So do you want to eat this? No. I mean, some of the wheatgrass grew, but this looks like it has alopecia. Do you really want to eat this? No, ma'am. So you need to either use coconut coir. It's biodegradable. It's good for you. It just comes straight from the coconut, nothing else that's in it. Or this, if you don't want to shift. Or you can use like some regular pot mix. It doesn't have to be name brand. And I'm gonna tell you about something. I tried it with some organic potting mix. So I said, I'm gonna try this. I want to make it organic, not thinking it's already organic because I didn't put any chemicals in it. It's just straight distilled water. I opened up the pack of potting mix and it was worms in it. Worms. And I was freaking out because I'm like, yes, worms are good outside, but not inside. But some potting mixes, worms are part of their ingredients. So if you go to the dollar store and just get regular potting soil, if it's not like a whole lot of debris in there, kind of like this stuff right here, this is good outside if you're going to grow it to full term. But if it's microgreens, all of these big chunks of bark and things like that, it's going to make it grow kind of wonky unless you shift it. Now, I do have my little dollar store makeshift shifter. All of this came from the dollar store. I just poured the dirt in here if I'm bored or I need my niece to do some busy work so I can do something else. I have her outside shifting dirt. But if you don't want to shift dirt, I would suggest to buy this. And you really don't even need that much. So say if you have a to-go tray about like this size, this is probably like the standard to-go tray. You want to fill the soil up to about half. You want to put the microgreens on top. Excuse me. You want to fill it up to half. You're going to spray it with a sprayer, or either take your spray attachment. You want to spray it to make sure that the soil is not wet. You want it moist. It's the difference. If it's wet, you're going to get bacteria and mold because it doesn't have anywhere to go if you didn't put holes in the bottom of it. So you're just going to make it moist. You're going to take the microgreens and you're going to sprinkle them on the top. Make sure they're not touching, because if they start touching each other, then that's called budding. So what it's going to do is you're going to see like these clusters of sprouts just over here and a cluster over there, and it takes a while for it to kind of spread out on its own. So you want to make sure that you dust it with your seeds. Then you're going to spray it down again. If this has a top, which it normally does, and I don't know where it is, I have a white one. I'll just put this over it just like this. This creates a blackout. Now, you can go to Lowe's, you can go to the hardware store and get you a blackout bin, and it's going to cost you $15. I just blacked this out for what I had for lunch. That's still saving you money. Saving you money means, okay, I didn't have to spend $15, so I could put that in my gas tank, or I can buy lunch, or I can buy Pampers, or I can put that towards my light bill, or to whatever else you need it. Or since everybody's ordering off of Amazon, take your box, put it over the tray, blackout, easy. And I know everybody has Amazon boxes somewhere. Am I kidding? What's the next question?
Next question is, where do you purchase sunflower microgreens? Where do you get the seeds?
You can get those off of Amazon. There's another store that I really like, and it is called True Leaf Market. And no, this is not paid advertisement. They just have a really good product. True Leaf Market. You can buy these. These aren't the sunflower seeds, but this is the type of packet that it comes in. You can buy sunflower seeds from them if you want them in bulk. You can buy them from Amazon. I think they have them in the hardware store. You can even grow microgreens with the seeds that you get at the dollar store. I did some radishes like that to see what would be the difference between the $3 pack of seeds, the $2.15 pack of seeds, and the 99-cent pack of seeds. All of them sprouted. So there's really no difference. What's the next one?
Next question is, where do you get that coconut coir from?
Coconut coir, the easiest place to get it from is Amazon, because Lowe's and Home Depot sells out of it quick. And then also the quantity of Lowe's and Home Depot, they sell like these big round barrels of it, and you're not going to use that much unless you have somewhere to store it. Amazon has it already pre-cut, and it's in a packet probably about this big with 40 of them. So you can have 40 little plants. And also I want to show you this. Between coconut coir and seeds, you can mix and match like at the wine store. This is just a regular food grade tray. And we have wheatgrass on this side and a spicy salad mix on this side. And I did this on purpose because the wheatgrass is on the coconut core, right? The spicy salad mix is on the soil. So if you run out of coconut core because you were so enthused about making all of these microgreens, like I have no more coconut core, but I have all of this space, add your soil. 2 for 1 in one place. What's next?
We have one more question for now. Does your house have to be a certain temperature?
Microgreens usually grow in, that's a good question. They usually grow between 72 and 85. And that's kind of like normal temperatures for housing that you'll see on some YouTube videos that, oh, you have to have humidifier, and you have to have a whole lot of fans, and then you have to have these fancy lights. That question leads to my grow area. These lights came from Home Depot for $12. That's right, $12. I think the bulbs were like $5 and they're regular LED lights. I do not leave these lights on for 12 and 16 hours. You know why? Because my utility bill would be crazy. Crazy. So if your kitchen or wherever you keep your things, like now I really don't have any. This is natural light. Raise the, open up some windows, and you have flow. If you start having mold in your microgreens and you're doing all of that, then you might have some mold in your house somewhere, because this keeps a flow, and microgreens need a flow of air. But if it's too cold, they will wilt, and if it's too high, they will dry out quickly. This, like I said, this stand, this I think it's 4 tier stand came from Staples, and it is food grade. You can do that. This was $52. Now you will see some microgreen stands that says, oh yes, you have to spend $3,000. No ma'am. You have to spend $5,000. No sir. This is a makeshift microgreens. And do you see how my microgreens are growing? Fine. No mold. None of them is wilted. Everybody's standing up at attention, ready to be harvested. And all of these microgreens are going to low-income families, just to show them how you can use microgreens and grow them in your own home to give like the diversity of food, because that's what I teach also, the diversity of food. With that being said, I will have on my Facebook page a little video of how to grow microgreens if you ever forget. So if you go to my Facebook page, which is Slice 325 on Facebook, I probably will have that posted today, and it's going to be like a little video to show you kind of like in detail, but it'll go by so fast because you would think that all these other videos, you have to do this, you have to do this. Really simple. Another thing I wanted to show you, you know when you feel bad about eating ice cream at night? I grew microgreens in this. This is an ice cream container. And they look so pretty. After I grew them, I didn't feel bad about eating ice cream anymore. But I know I should eat 2 or 3 more ice creams just to get a container. But if you feel bad about eating ice cream, just grow your microgreens in here to offset, the sugar. Any more questions for me, or that was it?
So 2, one is, when are you going to get a YouTube show? Because you need to be doing your own online show.
A lot of people tell me that, but I'm kind of nervous about a YouTube channel, but thank you, whoever said that.
And then someone asked, what is amethyst?
Amethyst is it's a flower. And I wish I had a picture of it, and I thought I did. But it's a flower that grows really, really huge. And I think it grows, because when I saw it, this lady said, oh, you can eat that. And I'm like, I'm not eating that, because it's this real big hanging flower, and it looks like it has tubes of these red leaves that's like kind of like a French braid a little bit, but smoother, that's coming out. And it doesn't look too much great to eat. This is if you can see this picture, because this picture is a little bit better than my picture of what I'm growing. This is what it looks like when you do it as a microgreen stage. The flower I thought I had, but I don't. But amethyst is really good because it has vitamin K in it, vitamin E, calcium. It also has beta carotene in it. Like I said, the flavor is kind of strong a little bit, but it's like a mustard, not the spicy mustard, but it's a smooth mustard, if that makes sense. Another one that I like so much is I'll tell you about the popcorn. I'm growing into wheatgrass. I'm really trying to. The purple radish, which I tell my students, I call it the not purple, the pink radishes, these right here. How I get my students to remember it, I call it the Nicki Minaj of radishes because it's pink. And they have like really good properties also, but those radishes have folic acid in it, potassium, zinc, phosphorus, all of this good stuff, and it's crunchy. So when you're having a turkey sandwich or a ham sandwich or either a BLT sandwich and you want like a crunch, make sure it's toasted too. That's so good, toasted with it. But yeah, well, a toasted sandwich and you still want that crush, this would be a good radish for that. Another one that the rainbow radish, the rainbow radish, the purple one also, that has a kind of like a spicy kick, and you can harvest that in 10 days. You can harvest the pink ones in 10 days, but I let it go about 13 days because it'll have more leaves on it and it'll be a lot more fuller and you can use it for a lot longer. Oh, shelf life for microgreens. Since you are not putting them in the dirt, you don't have to like really wash them, but you do want to rinse them off. And because you want to rinse them off, since they're not outside in the elements, it's what you have in your house. So you can rinse them off and they will stay in the refrigerator for 5 to 7 days. So you don't have to like use them right away. And 1 cup of microgreens is equivalent to eating, like if it's broccoli, is equivalent to eating the whole broccoli flower. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't eat the whole broccoli flower and not feel bad or my stomach hurt. But I can eat a couple of those with no problem because I can put it in my smoothie. If in the morning, I can have it in my spaghetti in the afternoon, and then I can have it with my fish at night. And I've had 3 cups of microgreens in one day and didn't even think about it. Any more questions for me?
A couple of questions. First of all, is the popcorn really popcorn?
It is.
Popcorn
it is
seeds?
really popcorn. Yes, popcorn seeds. And I'm going to tell you another secret to that one. If you go to the dollar store and you get the popcorn, I mean the old school popcorn, the popcorn that's in the plastic bag, same concept as popcorn. Instead of buying seeds, popcorn, and it has like 10 seeds in it for like $1 or 15 seeds in $1, when you can get the whole bag of popcorn. But it has to be the old school one, with nothing in it, no salt, no nothing, no preservatives, anything. You can take that and see, and I think that's what that was because I tried it out. Yeah, that's what that was. That was the popcorn that I got from the dollar store that just was straight popcorn. Also with not with microgreens, but I've had done this with other plants of mine. When you go to the grocery store and you see the dry beans, I have tried dry beans and germinated them and put them in my planter boxes, and they did sprout and bear fruit. So when you don't use all your dry beans like your lima beans and things like that, just save a little bit and put them in a napkin and put them in a plastic bag and let them germinate, and you have your plant for the next season. It's just that simple. That's what I teach in my classes. And I call it new school ways with old roots, because everything is not new from under the sun. It's the same thing, kind of like the same concepts that grandma and grandpa taught you, but just in a different light and in a different way that you teach it, that I teach, excuse me.
Okay, last question. So far. Are microgreens always eaten raw or can they be cooked?
You can cook them. They're better eaten raw. But when I say you can cook them, like if you add them to your spaghetti, you can cook that. But I will add them at the end so you won't lose the nutritional value. So you can eat them like that. You can also mix them with other greens, like if you're making like a stir fry. I will also add that at the end because they don't take that long to cook. It's a really quick cook time, but it's not bad eating raw because it's just like you have to put yourself in the mindset like if you had potato chips, but without the salt. So yeah, they can go either way, but anytime that you cook them, you want to put it at the end, like right before you serve, so the steam will cook them because they're not a full plant. They're still really, really tender.
Okay, another question came in. Can you talk, you mentioned this briefly, but can you talk a little bit about mold? And, what does that look like? What might cause it? What can you do to
Good
prevent it?
question. Mold. This is what mold looks like. It'll be this color or either black. You don't want neither one of them. Now, you will see something that looks like mold, but it's not mold. And that is called root hairs. See how this is really white and it kind of looked like the same thing I just showed you, but it's a lot smoother. How you can tell the difference is when you spray it with water, if it draws up, that's root hairs. Root hairs are just little hairs that's trying to find water. So that's another indication to let you know, hey, I'm thirsty. If you spray water on it and it doesn't dry up and it's just sit there and look at you like, that's mold. That's mold.
So what causes the mold and what can you do to prevent it?
What causes the mold is sometimes it's the temperature. Sometimes you might have bad seeds. That can happen. The seed can have like mold already in it, but you can't see it. Heat sometimes, or if you don't have proper airflow. Mold does not like light and it does not like air. So when you germinate, you want to always watch your germination because if you keep it in the dark too long, there's no airflow, there's no light. So it's just like, hey, you got to turn up. It's a disco out here for us. But as soon as it sees light and air, it kind of get a little vampish. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna just stay here. Now, a way that you can treat it is you can make a solution of vinegar, distilled vinegar and water. I think it's 5% vinegar and to 5% vinegar to distilled water, but you don't want to drench it and like, okay, I'm gonna kill all of it. You still want to spray it and still sit it out in the light. And vinegar doesn't have any like not pesticide, yeah, like any chemicals or anything like that. Vinegar is vinegar, but you can also use it to help with the mold problem. But you can only use vinegar if you first start seeing it, but don't get it. So you won't have to use the vinegar. You can use the vinegar for some pickles, not mold.
So a couple questions. Do you only keep the seeds in the dark until they start to sprout? When do you know that?
I thought I had one. Okay, this one was a sprout, but it did it really fast. So what this is a salad mix. When you see the sprouts come up to probably about this tall, probably about an inch, and they're still yellow, that's enough. Don't sprout them anymore. It doesn't take long for them to turn green because they start doing their photosynthesis thing and like, okay, now I want a tan, I'm gonna get some color, I'm gonna start doing what I need to do. When they're yellow, like I took this out probably about 2 hours before we started this class, and they're already starting to turn green. So they're starting to do their thing. So once you see them start budding, but not like sprouts. Because sprouts look like, I have one that's not really, well, this is a little bit of, this is just starting, but I still have more seeds. Those are sprouts. So I'm gonna let this stay in there a little while longer so the other seeds can catch up. Can you all see that? So when they get a little bit taller and all of those start kind of looking like this, oh, here's some root hairs. You see this at the bottom where it looks a little fuzzy?
Tilt it a little bit more. Back up just a little bit. Yes. Well, yeah. Okay.
Those are root hairs. They just want water. So I just move some water around and look at there. It's gone. No mold, root hairs.
And Shamika, you are keeping those in the dark right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I would keep those. Usually a good term of how long to keep them in germination, as we call the germination state, is at least 3 to 4 days. And then it's according to your temperature. And since it's starting to get kind of warm, I would say maybe 3 days to keep them in there. If it was a little colder, because you can grow, the great thing about microgreens, you can grow them year round. It could be snow outside. If your house is warm, you have microgreens. You don't have to go to the store to buy any of them. You just pop some seeds in there. And that's why I like the packet of seeds I showed you. That's a pound. I've had that. I've already fed 150 people off of that bag, and I still probably have about a quarter left. That's how far they spread, because you don't need that much. You don't need what I call grandma plates of microgreens. You only need a little, goes a long way. And you can't, I will say, if I would stay away if you're on Coumadin. Now, this is my medical background chiming in. If you're on Coumadin, I would stay away from microgreens that are strong in vitamin K, and that's mostly like your leafy greens. Amethyst is kind of okay. The popcorn is all right, but anything like kale, because you can do kale salad mix and things like that, I would kind of stay away from them a little bit. I wouldn't add as much, but I would probably just use them as a snack because of the vitamin K.
So someone asked, can you start germination outside in a container to minimize mold? Does it?
No, well, you could if you have a place where it won't get knocked over. If it's going to be free of bugs, because these microgreens, they don't have to be pollinated, so you wouldn't want like ants, even though people don't think that ants are pollinators. You don't want ants on there, and you don't want flies or anything like that. It's best to be in the house. And it could be anywhere in the house. It could be in your spice cupboard. It can be with your glasses. Like I showed you, it could be in a box. I tried peppers in my closet just to see, because I wanted to make sure that I tried everything people could do. So I did peppers in my closet. I put a couple of them in my spice cabinet. I put a couple of them in my glasses. I put a couple of them like under the sink, just so I knew that it would be no critters coming around, because they carry bacteria and things like that. And if you're going to eat, you want your microgreens to be at this purest, because you don't know what they have on their little tentacles, and you don't want to eat that. We're trying to eat clean, really clean.
Someone asked, is it safe to grow them with pets? Are there any dangers if your pets get curious?
No, because they're a vegetable. I would say, well, you can't. Well, I know some pets cannot eat sweet potatoes. But I taught one of my really good friends how to grow microgreens at her house, and she has cats, but the cats don't even really pay them any attention. I had a lady grow them with her dogs, but she grew them like on her countertop, and they're not gonna go up there. It's kind of treat them like they're your kids, so just put them up where your kids can't get them. Or if you have curious kids like cats, they might sniff them a little bit or whatnot, but she says that they really don't bother them too much. They're not like catnip. Now, catnip, you can forget it. They'll be all in that. You can probably put it in the closet and they'll find a way to get it.
Is there a brand of coconut core that you prefer?
No, because well, I've tried a couple of different brands, but the reason I say Amazon because Amazon has really truthful reviews. So I cannot think of the name, and I think I might have threw it away when I was putting up some stuff. It's not like a certain brand. Coconut core is coconut core. You can't make it any other way. It's the same product over and over again. But it's just a different manufacturer that makes them.
Cool.
But you can buy them in sheets. You can buy them pre-cut. I like the pre-cut because, like I showed you on this one, I like to mix and match. You know, I might grow a couple of them here and a couple of them this way and a couple of them that way, just so I have like something to show that you can grow them either way. And when I harvest, I just get everything at the same time to save time. But it's made out of the same material all the way around.
Someone asked 2 questions. What seeds are best for beginners? And what kind of peppers did you grow in your closet?
Okay, the best seeds for beginners are radishes. Those are the easiest ones. Radishes, they told me that amethyst was hard. And I said, okay, I'm going to try this, you know, because I'm a little hard-headed sometimes. That wasn't really hard to grow. Or broccoli. Broccoli is pretty easy also, too. Then the absolute easiest one, which I don't really like too much, but I don't like it because I like it cooked, are sweet peas. I know a lot of people eat sweet peas raw, which is good with them, but I like them with heat. But those grow really, really fast. And the wheatgrass grows really, really fast, and that's easy too. The thing about it is how I remember when I say do not let them dry out. How I remember it is when I get up in the morning, when I do my thing that I need to do before I go out to work or whatever I need to do, I check my plants. I spray them. After I spray them, I look at them, see if everybody's okay, you know, not sick or anything. Y'all good? Okay. Then I grab my keys and I go. When I come back, I check them again to make sure that they're okay. Okay, then I do whatever I need to do at home in the house. And before I go to bed, I check them again. After a while, it's just a routine, and it's not really a tedious routine. It's like kind of the same thing as you going by the trash can and putting something in the trash, or you going to put up your shoes. It's a routine, and after a while, because I have so many, I just come this way. So when I tell people if you have a busy life, put them in your kitchen, because most of the time people they keep their keys or their pocketbook or whatever, or their shoes in their kitchen. So you have to get that stuff before you leave home. So just put a little spray bottle beside your microgreens so you can remember to spray them.
So
and
2
was there
questions.
A second question to that one?
Just what kind of peppers did you have in your closet?
Oh, I grew bell peppers in my closet to see if they would work. And they did. They sprouted. They sprouted, and I was able to transplant them with any problems. I kept 15, like I really need 15 bell pepper plants, but I plan on keeping maybe 5 because I like bell peppers. But and I gave the other ones away to students in my class so they can have bell peppers at home also.
So someone asked, what if you don't like the taste of coconut? Is there an alternative? But can you taste the coconut if you grow
cannot
it?
taste it? You cannot taste it at all. A radish tastes like a radish. Spicy mix tastes like spicy. All it is it's not the coconut in the inside. It's the husk on the outside. So you don't taste it at all.
And then someone asked, do all microgreens require the same amount of light and water?
No, you can get into some microgreens. I'm just giving you the easy ones. Some microgreens are Chinese arithmetic. And I say Chinese arithmetic because they are fancy and they are high maintenance. So you have to have like a certain pH level, and you have to have a certain amount of light, and then you have to gauge the light. But those microgreens are mostly grown for restaurants that are high end, 4 or 5 star restaurants that they just put on your plate that you don't eat, but you paid $70 for the plate just to see it look pretty. That's where those. And it costs that much because somebody put in a lot of time and electricity to make it look pretty. So the ones that I teach about are the ones that you can actually eat and get the most bang for your buck.
So we're getting, we only have about 8 minutes left. Shamika, I got a sense of how many you put in a container or how close they are in a container. Can you show us a little bit more about how you said they have to be spaced a little bit apart. You don't want them clumped together.
Let me clarify that one. I do not want you all taking some tweezers and going in and picking out each seed. No, ma'am. What you can do is you can take, say, like a salt shaker. If you have an extra salt shaker, or if you finish using some seasoning, and you know those seasonings containers that have like the little holes at the top, wash that out, keep it just for your microgreens, you put it on the side. You can take that and you want to shake it. Just shake it from top to bottom, and that should be enough. So, but you want to go from side to side. You want to make sure you get each square inch of it, and then that's it. You don't have to, if you go to measure it, now you can measure it like some microgreens, it might take but this right here, this is like a teaspoon of seeds. Whoops. Sorry, I lost you.
We still got you. We can still hear you.
This one was like a teaspoon of seeds. And you kind of have to gauge it because some seeds are bigger than others, and some seeds are like really like mustard seeds. So what you would want to do is maybe like take what I have is I have like a little scooper, kind of like a measuring cup that you get from the dollar stores, like the teaspoons, the tablespoons, and things, this, that, and other. Look at your seeds and see if they're kind of big or if they're kind of small. The bigger ones usually take maybe like a teaspoon and you spread, because you probably won't do one this big, but if you do, that's great too. This is probably about like a teaspoon. And once you sprinkle it out, as long as they're not touching, then you can kind of gauge what you need. The other ones, they're kind of smaller seeds, and sometimes they're hard to see because they're like maybe like a dark purple or blue or either black. So you just gonna have to trust that you're sprinkling that amount and then just leave it alone, because it takes trial and error. You're not going to get it the first time, because when I started, I had clumps over here, nothing over here, and I'm like, I know I put some seeds what in the world. So after a while, probably about my 5th or 6th try, it was like muscle memory. Shake, 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 shake the devil out. Okay, done. And I put it up. If that helps, let me know.
Someone wants to know where you can purchase the coconut husk and the price.
You could purchase it at Amazon. Amazon sells the sheets that I have. Amazon sells the sheets like this. It's about, I have pretty big hands, so it's about this big. 40 of these for $15. So you get a pretty good amount of that one. They also sell the bales. You're not going to use the bales unless you're a commercial grower. If you can find them sometimes, because they do go out a whole lot at Lowe's and Home Depot. Also, Gina brought up a good question earlier when we talking about coconut husks. She said she saw the ones that's in the store that's a little darker than these that you put the planters in it. It's the same concept, but this one is a lot lighter. Like, it's really light. The other ones are kind of heavy, and that holds like outdoor plants. You're going to use these for indoors, so you want the light ones.
And Shamika, someone asked, first of all, somebody put in the comments that they found them on Amazon, TerraFiber, for $15.99 for a 40-pack. And then someone asked, how do you preserve the husks? How do you store them if you're not using them right away?
You could I just put them on the shelf. Just leave them in the pack and put them on the shelf. They're not gonna, you're gonna have to soak these anyway. And the directions, I think the ones that she saw are probably the same ones as these. on the directions, it'll tell you to soak these for 8 to 24 hours. But soak only the ones that you're going to need. The rest of them, do not soak the whole pack. The rest of them you put up like Brillo pads under somewhere or something like that, because these are very, very dry. And another thing I like about these, say like even with these trays right here, only 2 are really fit in there to be comfortable. So what I did, because I'm a space saver, I cut it in half because it'll tear really easy. But I tore it after it soaked, so it was easier to tear. Then that gave me more space to grow more, instead of like this one. I still have a lot of wasted space because I only put 2 in here. So you can cut it kind of like laying down tile or hardwood floors. You know, you can cut it to put on here, Fixer Sister, to make sure that you have it all around and you can still sow your seeds on here.
Shamika, thank you so much. This has been so
You're
much
so
fun
welcome.
and so educational. This recording will live on the Fixer Sisters YouTube channel. And I will put a link to it on the website. The website is fixersisters.com. Again, thank you so much, Shamika. I look forward to, we will have Shamika back again for another session.
I'm trying to grow loofah, and I'm going to show you how to grow loofah next.
Yes.
Thank you, Shamika.
And I would like to ask, since we have people from all over the country, before you leave, would you just put in the comments what city and state you're in? I'm just curious to see where everybody is. And again, thank you so much for coming.